right, welcome to episode 4 of the Dragon's Tome. Today I'm your host, Chopper, and with me always is the handsomest two men in the world, Rob and Jack. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
I'm Rob. He's Jack, just so you didn't know. If this is your first episode. There's only like 3 before this. Just go watch them. Come on.
Exactly, yeah. And read the Dragon magazine. So we are now in issue 4, which is by far not my favorite.
December 76.
December 76.
Everybody was on vacation, I think. They all went home for the holidays. And
it's Christmas time. You know what I'm saying?
Up there. I don't know what this is.
As always, we talk about the cover. Still $1.50. And it's got a very Egyptian Sanskrit-looking tapestry-looking thing going on there.
Yep, by Professor M.A.R. Barker.
You think someone actually drew that, or you think they just took a picture out of an encyclopedia?
It's accredited to M.A.R. Barker, who's the guy who invented Empire of the Petal Throne. So, and that's what this whole issue's about. Yeah.
Oh, no wonder. Okay, so I didn't even put 2 together.
Yeah, that's why this cover, I guess. I don't know if he stole it from somewhere, or if he actually drew it. It looks stolen to me, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, there's not even Egyptian hieroglyphs. It's just like swirls.
It could be an old ancient language, but I don't know. Once again, if you're a historian and can tell us if this is real or not.
It is very much Egyptian-based, though. That is for sure.
Or Assyrian,
Yeah, I disagree. It's got some very maybe instead of North Africa, it looks more like
Middle Eastern.
Yeah,
Middle Eastern, or even like Indian, somewhere in there.
The name Empire of a Petal Throne does give me an Indian, more Asian feel, right? Middle Eastern, or the name of the game, so
yeah.
It could be.
I got Egyptian vibes from it.
But anyways,
yeah. Either way, the logo, the dragon logo that they have, should never be in white. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So let's just go on.
Yeah, we don't have to mention what it looks like. Yes. Now that you said it, I can't not see it.
All right, so
Pat just ignores us.
Now that being said, we've gotten that out of the way. Rob, what is your article of choice?
Can you guess? Dragon Rumbles.
Dragon Rumbles.
So once again, Timothy's up to his old games. He's defending this issue, being all about this game setting. What is it? Empire of the Petal Throne. And he's defending it and explaining how this setting isn't Tolkien at all. Like, this isn't based on Tolkien, by comparing it to Tolkien. That's what he does in this whole one. So, so that's what he discusses in the editorial. He's trying to defend his choice by saying one thing, but actually saying another. So, good job,
It's
Timothy.
a good preemptive strike. He knows that the comments are coming. He's going to, just nip it in the bud.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Dragon Rumbles this week. That's the Dragon Rumbles corner.
All right, Jack. I know you have a plethora of ideas. So what did you come out of this issue with?
Again, I didn't stick to an article for my first. I went with a ad, and it is on page 5. The archive miniatures.
Is it that dragon?
Imperial Dragon. This thing is Jack. You want this, don't you?
It is a showcase, and I'm going to put that in big quotes, of an Imperial Dragon. It's 7.25 inches tall. This is back when America used a different. These are, I think they're called Imperial units. That's how old this is. And 12 inches long. Like, I know no one now knows what that is, but and it is a chunky boy. It is a mess of a sculpt.
5 pounds.
Yeah, because clearly it was still lead at the time.
Oh, it's lead. This thing is, this is crazy.
It is not a good-looking dragon, that is for sure.
It is, and I think it highlights what was literally behind me. My 3D printer that I got running with no help at all can produce what it can produce compared to this. And yeah, it's just 40 years later. But this dragon has.
What's going on with his tail?
The thing about this dragon is killing me is that he's like in some kind of kung fu pose too.
Yes.
He's got like a panlong look to him, but he's got a crest down his back. Mm-hmm. He's got bat wings, but he's got giant ears, antlers.
Like I wish this was in color, because imagine the colors on this thing.
A mustache, fangs, tusks. A scorpion tail.
Oh, he does have a Chinese dragon mustache.
I didn't notice the scorpion tail. What's that little thing like? It's poking up. It looks like he's sat on a bone or something. What is that?
It does look like a growth in the middle of his tail. It looks like either I don't know.
Is it like a stone he's wrapped around, or a tree or something he's wrapped around? Just because they couldn't figure out how to do it?
He sat on a stalagmite?
I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know what it is either.
But
all I know, this thing is super expensive.
$35.
Yeah. Anybody know? Where's my phone? I want to find out what $35 is. Let's look this up. You guys vamp and look it up.
And this thing is coming from California, Northern California, in South San Francisco.
So I don't know who's going to get 5 pounds of lead delivered and put the time and energy of, and it's one of those things back then.
$168. That's
so $35 in 1976 was the $168 now.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Unassembled,
and you know it's going to fall apart. You know it
probably can't support its own arms because it's going to be so goddamn heavy.
And again, it's got antlers like a jackalope, a snake face with a mustache, tank. It is. I don't want to go on, but if I could go on about this thing all day.
I wonder if you took a lot of it off, it would actually not look too bad. If you took off all those fins and stuff, I think the actual face sculpt's not too bad.
Well, I think the pose is what's going to ruin it for me because he's hi-ya!
He is metal. You can pose him any way you want. You just bend it.
I think much like the hosts of this podcast, the more you take off, the worse it would look.
Hey, speak for yourself. Hey,
okay, I speak for myself. So that is what I wanted to highlight. The page 5 abomination that is the Imperial Dragon.
For sure, yes. Patrick?
So I'm going to jump on the Jack Fight boat, and I'm going to talk about the creature feature, but specifically the Mojave. That's how I'm guessing you pronounce it.
It sounds pretty
I thought
Hawaiian.
so too.
Yeah. This is also the reason why it made me think it was Egyptian theme, because they look like the jackals.
A little bit.
Yes.
They look like jackals, but more specifically, I want to point out is the artwork for the Mojave. Not even so much as a creature that you would use. The 4 nipples and the disco pants.
Oh, yeah.
They're in bell-bottom disco pants. They're horrible looking things.
Again, for a game that isn't D&D, but it kind of has some, like it's got AC or whatever it is, but there's 2 in the creature feature. There's 2 different races of intergalactic travelers. One, it does have multiple teats, these cat people, and the other is just a giant.
Yeah, it's the thing they're fighting, right? It's some kind of weird.
It has wheels for a body and tentacles.
Oh, those are his ears, not his body. Because that's his head in the middle.
Wheels.
Yeah, but it's his head. Those are his ears that are wheels.
His ears are wheels.
The head's in the middle, isn't it? Those are his ears.
I don't know if those are his ears. Oh, so here's the thing. This is actually a 2-page piece of art. I just now realized.
Yeah,
yes, it's cut in
half. Yeah.
When it was probably it is. Let's get saucy for a second. Cover your children's ears. This would be a centerfold if the pages were lined out correctly. It would that would be one picture. In the way we're looking at it now, it's divided. But
yeah, But yeah, Pat, anything else you have to say about these crazy creatures?
No, I mean I read the thing. It was an alright creature to use, but I feel like they whoever wrote this creature also took to heart the colored spheres from Science and Magic article from issue 1. Because if you look, the front guy, the first page, is carrying a blue sphere.
Oh yeah.
And then the other guy on the next page is using a yellow sphere to attack. So
maybe these science fiction creatures have the spheres. Obviously science spheres.
Yeah. So, but that's what I got for this article.
Well, my article is not an article. It's just a picture. It's a Hagia out fishing on Sunday morning by Neil Healy.
I also wanted to. I don't know how you would pronounce that, but it's a little guy with. Yeah,
I think it's two guys. Is it two guys? Or
I think it's
one
two
guy?
guys because I see 4 legs and 4 sets of eyes.
But I think it's one body.
I think it's supposed to be one body.
Head.
Yeah. But my description of this is a weird, indecipherable picture because you can barely tell what's going on. The only thing that is rendered well is the spear. Everything else is scratchy and yeah, it looks like the one guy has like a pouch in his mouth because I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I thought that was fangs coming out of a mouth and he was biting a pouch.
Oh, could be. But he's got a gun and a belt on the other guy though.
Yeah, I have to guess that this is 2 guys.
I don't think so. I think it's one guy because I think that belt goes all the way around.
And it does say a Hagia.
Yeah.
Not a couple of, not 2 Hagias hanging out. But now you mentioned the belt on the first guy, that's not fangs on the second face. That's a pouch hanging from straps.
Yeah.
And it does look like the first body's got a pistol on his hip, so I don't know what's going on.
And his ankle looks all backwards. I don't know what's going on there either.
It's wild.
It's wild. So that's my next one.
It's no Imperial Dragon, but it's still pretty wild.
Jack, do you have another article to talk about?
Well, there was not much going on in this
unless
episode.
you're into Empire of the Petal Throne or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So other than highlighting that there's another ad for the play-by-mail game that I went into great lengths discussing last episode. I'll not bore you. The only other thing is, there's the ads that come up in this one in parts. You can tell they're photocopies. And they are bad. And like there's a Wizards and Warriors one, you can't tell what it is.
I was going to discuss this too, actually.
You cannot see if you go to page like 27, 28 when they start. Who's purchasing these models? Like I know there are so few and far between. You can't go down to the corner store.
I will say that these are bad scans because they were decent black and whites back in the day.
Oh yeah, they're terrible scans. That's what we're saying.
It says like these 2 hobgoblins, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's a hobgoblin. I can't tell.
That's part of the war. That's not an ad. That's the wargaming world. That's an actual article. I love it because the quote is, "As you can see by these 2 hobgoblins, each figure is slightly different from the other." I was like, no, you can't.
You cannot tell.
That was my answer to that. Was it just a bad scan for our PDF or like the scans for the computer, or was it that bad in the magazine back in the day? What do you guys think?
I think it was bad scans. I think the magazine was that old that's just how it's scanned.
You think it was better in the actual magazine? You could actually tell.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
You have much more. I think it was just bad in the magazine, but. Yeah. I agree with Jack. Me and you were on the exact same wavelength here because I had those exact same things pointed out.
And maybe Pat's right because the Der Kriegenspielers ad they've been good before. Not good. They've been passable for. When it said, "Hey, these are the Fellowship," you looked at, oh, there's Gandalf, there's the hobbits, there's the thing. In this issue, it shows cavalry or chivalry. It's called.
But there's guys and horses, yeah.
And there's people there. You can see vague outlines. I would never put down a red cent.
I think it's also the settings of the scan, because if you go to page 32, there's an actual picture of people, and you can see how whited out it is.
Yeah, but then there's also the color pictures look great, and then the cartoons look great too. So it's like, it's just odd that some pictures are really bad and some aren't.
I think they heighten up the brightness to make it look, because
look at the Metamorphosis Alpha picture is not bad. Like you can tell what's going on. There's a lot going on in there, but it's a good scan. It just seems to me some of the pictures are just really bad. Speaking of Metamorphosis Alpha, this is the first science fiction role-playing game right here.
It could be the pictures. I mean, we're talking film back then too. We're not talking digital.
Yeah, of course. But Metamorphosis Alpha is in here. TSR's first sci-fi game. So we're getting new games being made all the time. This is the Renaissance, or the not even Renaissance. It's the beginning of the boom.
This is the Genesis.
Yep.
They were in the Neolithic age of role playing games, and so other than the fact that there's not much material in this episode, it's starting. Which, you know what? If I was reading this as an outsider, I'd be like, "Oh God, I don't know. This is." How long they can keep this up? They're already scratching the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I mean, this. There's a lot of that rose petal in here, so this would not have interested me at all.
No, and it's a good thing that that there was a preemptive strike to quell that right up front, because I would be questioning it. But you're starting to see more comics, and I think that is there's a couple in here that I actually chuckled at one. So, yeah.
Mapping the Dungeons is a little more expanded. Now there are 2 Canadian GMs. Do you know them? They're from Bradford, Ontario, and Don Mills. Do you know where Don Mills is?
Both they're at Bradford and they're Brantford. It's not Bradford. They're near Toronto, sort of.
Yeah. So Alec Drysdale and Cecil Nurse.
Yep. There you go.
Do you guys know Cecil?
Everyone knows a Cecil.
Cecil Nurse. Their Nurse is a very popular name. There's a lot of famous sports people named Nurse. So
there's the Niagara Falls, New York. Here, do you know Ray Lonsdale?
We don't go to the United States.
Oh, okay.
Also, I noticed that Games Workshop has a ad in this book.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Like, this is way before GW was GW. This is them just licensing D&D stuff. But it was Games Workshop presents D&D Day in London, England.
What page is that again?
I'm trying to find it. There it is. It's on page 8. It looks like a little mouse. It looks like Mickey Mouse that they've... hey, GW stealing images and claiming them for their own? Who would have guessed? Little Mickey Mouse Games Workshop presents D&D Day. Fulham Town Hall in Harwood Road, London. This
must have been before they moved to...
There you go. From Games Workshop. It's 97 Uxbridge Road in London.
Well, see, the problem is I apologize to anyone who lives in the UK, because we're announcing these as it is written, but I know how it actually works in real life. So I would say Fulham. I know it probably is not pronounced anything like that.
Oh, I think it is Fulham. But,
really?
Yep. Fulham. Oh. No, you don't say Fulham. You say Fulham.
I would say 100% Fulham, because I know it would know those guys.
Yeah. Oh. What else was in here that I noticed? Yeah, nothing else, I don't think. Oh, Synthcast. That's the other thing. Do you guys see the ad for Synthcast?
Yeah, the silicone mobiles.
Yeah, I love it. It's just stealing. And I love there's a little thing for the Synthcast. It actually says in it, do not use it on, if you don't own the, what does it say? Note, the reproduction of an object without the written consent of its originator can be unlawful. Be certain to check on the legality before reproducing any item. But yeah, it's just pretty much silicone mold.
I like the Ral Partha one on page 31. Talking about new releases, but you can get a catalog from Ral Partha if you just send him 25 cents.
Yeah.
And or a stamp.
Angel of Death and Beowulf.
Yeah. Again, there's a small blob and then there's a tall blob.
It seems to the ads. The ads are really bad for the art, like for the reproduction, where everything else is a little bit better. So, might be something to do with how they got their ads.
Yeah.
There you go. Anything else to talk about, boys?
I don't think so. I mean, we don't have any frame of reference for this rose petal game or whatever it's called.
And nobody else does because it died a death. Nobody's ever heard of this game.
Yeah.
Empire of the Petal Throne. It's not something that lasted. That's all I was saying.
So, but the comics and some of the other stuff were nice to see. Oh, I didn't. If I had actually read the cover, it actually literally says special issue.
Mm-hmm. You didn't read that?
I didn't get that far down.
You were distracted by the logo, weren't you?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's should be wrapping up episode 4. Episode 5 will be next week.
Yeah.
I think.
Hopefully, it's a better issue.
Yeah, hopefully it'll have some stuff in there. I mean, I haven't got to read it yet, but we'll read it soon. So, but I hope you guys are enjoying our little, what do you want to call it? Our little remembrance of Dragon magazines, our little throwbacks. What's the other word I'm looking for?
Yeah, nostalgia.
Recap.
Please do. I apologize for the quality of our videos and the quality of Skype. It is terrible.
It's work in progress, guys. Work in progress. We'll figure some stuff out.
Yeah, we've had a couple rough episodes. The last one was fantastic, though. Like last one, we've got a lot of good feedback on that one. Hopefully,
was it because you hosted it? Is that what you're saying?
Was it? I don't remember now.
The feedback I've been reading is the first and this episode were probably everyone's.
You've read the feedback for this episode already?
Nice.
All right. Well, guys, let's wrap up episode 4. I've been your host, Chopper.
I'm Jack.
And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.